Good morning everybody, welcome to the United Stand, welcome to this morning's topic show. Antony is through the door. What does that mean for Sancho? What does that mean for Rashford? We know that Antony's going to be on the right hand side of the attack, so who goes on the left? This is where it gets interesting. We could even add different players into this, but Sancho and Rashford, we're going to talk about them more and actually get their pluses and their negatives of what they bring to this team going forward, and which one do you think suits that left-hand side more? If Antony is in fact going to steal that right-hand side berth and stay there under Ten Hag. We'll start on Rashford. I think Rashford, you got to look at it and go, the jury's out, completely out. After his last two seasons, well, last season especially, there aren't many Rashford fans out there at the moment. There are ones that can see past what happened last season and can see exactly what he does bring. And then there are fans that are just like, after last season, I don't want to know. I don't want to, he shouldn't even be starting in the team. He shouldn't even be given a second chance, some people would say. But you got to look at it, he is there, he's a United player, and Ten Hag has pretty much put his trust in him all the way through this season so far. So we know that Ten Hag likes him, we know he's going to use him. We also know that he likes Sancho, which is why we're bringing up this debate, because Antony's going to play on the right-hand side, like we said, and then we've got to decide, right, okay, who's going to be on that left? We may adapt this into a middle conversation as well, because that centre-forward role still isn't confirmed yet either. But looking at the left-hand side, what does Rashford bring? What does Rashford bring ahead of Sancho? I mean, both players, I would say, his finishing isn't up to scratch, isn't the best going off last season. I know I'm saying that now after the last time we played here at Old Trafford against Liverpool. They both had great finishes, and it's funny I should say that. But look at it, over the last couple of seasons, not been ideal, especially Rashford's. You'd expect Rashford for the start he made and the amount of goals he's already got for United to be comfortable in that position. From the left, we've seen him do most of his damage. You can think back. If you can think past the form that was last year, which was disastrous, let's be honest, you can think back to the Trent Alexander-Arnold days when Rashford turned him inside out. He also gave Van Dijk a nightmare in a previous game against Liverpool here. He gave Virgil van Dijk another nightmare when we played him this season. He has got that something that sometimes comes out in just the big games. His record against City is great. His record against Liverpool, just the same. He likes the goal against Chelsea as well. So where is it going wrong for Rashford? People will say his end product, his hold-up play. So that's when you bring in the conversation of like who would be better in the Ten Hag system when it comes to that left-hand side. Rashford brings us that pace, that raw pace that no one else in this team has got, more than Sancho can bring, in fact. And will that pace help when chasing back? Yes, of course it will. If you lose a ball, you'd expect Marcus Rashford under Ten Hag, and the way he's training them and the effort he wants them to put in is to get straight back up and chase that ball back down, which Rashford has done many a time so far this season. His work rate is up. It's definitely up. I can see it being at the games. You can see it how tired he is at the end of the game, blown out. But that just shows what effort he's putting in, and that pace does have an advantage in defence and attack. When playing against the high line, like a City, like a Liverpool, like he showed against Van Dijk in the game against Liverpool here at Old Trafford, you're going to see the benefit of Rashford and what he brings. He was an outlet every single time because Liverpool played that high line. He will give us that pace over the top. That's where Rashford comes into his own. And I agree with the whole conversation of Rashford that he isn't a centre-forward. Against Southampton, Rashford didn't work. And the work rate side of things, yeah, no problem. But we needed an end product. We needed someone to hold on to that ball up top and give pressure and take the pressure off the defence and midfield in the Southampton game. Towards the back end of that game, we had nothing in the final third against Southampton. We couldn't hold on to it. We couldn't string 3 or 4 passes together. We had nothing and we had no release, and it was all down on a brilliant defensive performance which kept us 1-0 up in that game. Yeah, we got the goal. It was a great move going forward and everyone contributed in a way to it. Great stuff, but why not go and get a second goal? We just didn't have that quality. And Rashford didn't hold the ball up. He hasn't got that quality in his game. He doesn't hold the ball up well. He's better on the left than he is in the centre, but is there a better option on the left than Rashford in Jadon Sancho? Or in fact, does Antony have to compete against Sancho on the right? Because Sancho's done all right on the right this season so far. I mean, debating Rashford and debating Sancho, it's two different types of players altogether. I do believe that Ten Hag, in his rotational system, is going to utilise both skills of these players. I think they'll all be well aware now that they are going to have to spend time on the bench this season. You're not going to play every game. It's week in, week out, 2 games a week now all the way through to the World Cup starting. So you got to look at it and go, Rashford 1 week. Do you know what I actually think? Against Leicester on Thursday, Rashford would be better than Sancho if Anthony was playing in this team. Say you had Anthony available for Leicester, I think Ten Hag would play Rashford over Sancho because of Leicester's lack of pace at the back and their high line that they usually do play. And it was proven last season when we actually got smashed by Leicester. Rashford did come on in his first game back after injury and cut open the Leicester defence. He left them for dead because they were playing a highest line. All the time in the world, picked his spot, bang, 2-2, got us back in the game. That's what I think Rashford would do against Leicester. That's why I would play him, because I do believe that they would give him the space to run in over the top. Southampton, none of that. Deep, solid, Rashford's out the game. It's as simple as that. So you have to pick and choose who is better in that position for each particular game, more than picking one to start week in, week out, I think. Rashford brings us that quality, that pace, that direct play. That's what I would say Rashford is good at. You flip it over to the other side with Jadon Sancho. There's nothing wrong with Jadon Sancho against Leicester. We'll give us a benefit. The bonus of Jadon Sancho is the delivery. It's that know-how. It's the assist that he brought from Dortmund. That inverted winger that can cut in on the right-hand side, can cut in on the left-hand side and still pick out that brilliant cross. It's no coincidence that Jadon Sancho's form with a decent centre-forward was completely different at Dortmund when he had Haaland there. With Ronaldo, if he stays this summer, and if Ronaldo is going to play a big part, I think Sancho works better in that front three. If Ronaldo is going to be number one and Ten Hag realises that Rashford cannot play centre-forward, I think everyone sees that and doesn't want to see it. Then if you're going to choose between Rashford and Sancho on the left-hand side, if Ronaldo's playing, I think it's Sancho all day long. He's on that wavelength. He can put that ball in better than what I say Rashford can put a ball in. Rashford's a cutting off the left-hand side onto his right foot and hit it type of player. Yes, Sancho can do that, but he hasn't got that explosion that Rashford's got. I think Sancho would work better with a Ronaldo. You could say Sancho would work well with a Martial as well if he was playing in number 9. But I do believe Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial work better together. So again, it goes back to where I see it as he's going to have to chop and change and adapt the players. He's going to have to mix it up a little bit through the games. I don't think we're going to see Sancho over Rashford in a continuous amount of games. And again, this does come down to if Ten Hag throws Anthony straight into the team. He had a chance to throw in a Champions League winner who's won everything at club level and is the best in class. But no, he picked McTominay ahead at Southampton. So is Anthony going to come straight in, or are we going to still see Rashford and Sancho either side of a Martial or a Ronaldo? Is it going to be Elanga, or is he going to try and persist on playing Rashford through the middle? I think that would be where it didn't work for Ten Hag personally. I don't see Rashford as a centre forward. I see Rashford on the left and only on the left. I'm not going to lie. I think that's where he needs to play, and that's where he needs to play all the time. I think the sooner Ten Hag gets a grip of this team, we'll see players in one position only. I don't think you're going to see much interchanging. Yes, both wingers can change every now and then, but Anthony did not move much from the right-hand side for Ajax last season. If he plays, then I think we're going to get a solid, rigid team that knows exactly where they're playing week in, week out, that can build that connection and camaraderie and link up between each other, which is what we've not had for ages at this football club. It's never been settled. There's always been utility players. There's been McTominay playing as a holding midfielder, Rashford as a centre forward, Rashford on the right, Sancho on the left. You've got Eriksen playing as a false 9, Bruno as a false 9. It does not work chopping and changing. It needs stability and it needs to be grown as a team, as one. He is big on the system working, Ten Hag, and I do believe that that's how he is going to go. I think it's going to be players in one position. When they come into the team, you know exactly where they're going to play. You could not say over the last 2 years where Rashford was playing. If Rashford's name was named on a team sheet, I guarantee every United fan, when asked the question, where's he going to play, they would not know. It can change week in, week out. It's not what we need. We need stability. Rashford on the left is the only position for me in this team where Rashford works. And there's a question, like I just said, if Anthony comes in, even if he's number 1 in that position. You've got Elanga who can play there, who hasn't really done much wrong in the last 2 games. We've seen Elanga flip to the right-hand side as well against Southampton. That's where the goal came from. He's in inverted runs inside, actually was the one that got us the goal. So you got to look at that as an option as well going forward. There is plenty to change with, but I think Ten Hag is going to be strict. I think he's going to look at it and go, Rashford left, stays left. Or, I mean, there's that horrible thought of him going down the middle, which is why everyone wanted the striker. Martial and Ronaldo down the middle. Rashford fighting with Alanga on the left. And maybe Sancho fighting with Antony on the right. You've got plenty of options there. Or is it Sancho and Rashford on the left like we're debating right now? If you want to throw a swerve ball in there, I've not even mentioned Garnacho in any of this, who could easily come into this team. So I mean, Bruno's played on the wing as well at one point. I think right now, looking at it, Ten Hag is going to go strict, rigid, get the players playing in one position, maybe two, adaptable to two positions and not move much from there. I think that's why he's brought the players he's brought in that he has. We know where Martinez is going to play, we know where Malacia is going to play, we know where Eriksen's best position is, we know where Casemiro is going to play, we know where Antony is going to play. Everyone else has to fit in with the players that Ten Hag has picked, because the players that were here last season failed. This is Ten Hag's team now. Half of that team, near enough, 3/4 of it is going to be Ten Hag players come, I'd say, after the transfer window's finished, come the Arsenal game, I think we'll know exactly what Ten Hag's best team is, because everything's in, it's all done and dusted, and that's when I think the stability will come. But let me know what you think. Rashford, Sancho, which one works best? Are you with me? It's one or the other, depending on the game. It has to be adaptable. Some will say leave Rashford completely out. Some will say Sancho should just stay on the right. Let me know what you think. Drop your comments in below. Everybody, it is going to be an absolutely crazy week. Obviously, transfer deadline day tomorrow with Leicester. I'll see you outside Leicester, and hopefully we're talking about Rashford and Sancho actually combining and working, because Antony's not available yet. Let's not forget that. And I wonder if Ronaldo's going to start in that game. Cheers for watching, everybody. Like, share and subscribe as always to the United Stand. We'll catch you on Thursday.